All right, let's talk about a problem that pretty much every maker, hobbyist, and small business owner runs into. It's that feeling, that deep frustration when your own tools are what's holding your vision back. Today, we're going to look at a potential solution to that problem, the Laser Tree 60W. Let's see if it's the real deal. So let me just ask you this right at the top. Are your tools limiting your vision? I mean, have you ever had this brilliant, massive idea and then had to shrink it down just to make it fit on the machine you have in your workshop?
You know what I'm talking about, right? Especially if you're a woodworker or a serious DIYer. It's that tiny working area that just can't handle your big designs. Or, oh man, the agony of watching your machine cut at a snail's pace. And maybe worst of all, the disappointment when you get to the end and the final piece has those ugly, messy, charred edges. Ugh. So how do we get past all that? Well, in this explainer, we're going to walk through it. First, we'll talk a bit more about the creator's limitations. Then we'll get into a revolution in the workshop. After that, we are diving deep into 4 game-changing features. And finally, we'll see what it really means to have your vision unleashed.
Okay, first up, the creator's limitations. You know, that feeling when your ideas are just way bigger than your equipment.
So now for part 2, a revolution in the workshop. Let's meet the star of the show, the Laser Tree 60W.
Look, this isn't just about another piece of hardware. This is positioned as the answer. It's supposed to be that bridge between your imagination and what you can actually hold in your hands. A tool built specifically to match the scale of your biggest, grandest ideas.
Which brings us to section 3, 4 game-changing features. This is where we get into the tech that makes it all happen.
And first up is a feature that will literally change the scale of what you can do. I'm talking about the massive workspace.
And when I say massive, I am not kidding. Check this out, 1,000 by 1,500 millimeters. Just think about that for a second. That is an enormous canvas to play with. It completely changes the game.
And this really shows you the difference. With a standard desktop machine, you're pretty much stuck doing small crafts, or you have to do that super tedious job of breaking up big designs into smaller pieces. But with a workspace this big, suddenly you're working on full-size sheets of material. You can run huge batches of parts all at once. You can create massive signs or even furniture components in one single go.
Okay, so you've got all this space. But what about the muscle? That brings us to the engine inside this machine, the powerful 60-watt laser module.
So what does 60 watts of raw power actually get you? Well, for one, way faster processing times. You're not waiting around forever. It also gives you the ability to just slice through thicker materials. We're talking wood, acrylic, leather, super cleanly. And the result of all that power? You get these incredibly crisp, deep engravings and perfectly smooth, precise cuts. It just takes the quality of your work to a whole new professional level.
All right, feature number 3, and this one is a true game changer for getting that clean, professional finish. It's the integrated air assist. Now, this is something you usually only find on really expensive, high-end industrial machines.
So if you've never heard of Air Assist, it's actually a pretty simple but genius idea. It's a system that just blows a constant stream of air right where the laser is doing its work. It blows away all the smoke and debris from that focal point. So simple, but the impact is huge.
And what you get are 2 massive benefits. First, you get those flawlessly clean edges we were talking about, with none of that charring or gunk that can ruin a project. And second, by keeping all that debris off the lens, it actually protects the laser and helps it last a lot longer. So, better quality and a longer-lasting machine. That's a serious win-win.
Okay, so we've got space, we've got power, and we've got precision. But what about versatility? Well, that brings us to our last big feature, dual functionality. This machine is basically a 2-for-1 deal. It's not just an engraver and it's not just a cutter, it's an expert at both. So one minute you can be etching these super intricate, delicate patterns for personalized gifts or custom home decor, and the next, you can flip a switch, so to speak, and start cutting out complex shapes for industrial prototypes or even large-scale art pieces. It's a true all-in-one workshop.
And that brings us to the final section, number 4, your vision unleashed. This is about what happens when you put it all together and totally reimagine your workshop.
You know, the source material says it perfectly with this one line: unlock a new realm of possibilities. And that's really what it's all about. It's about completely shattering those limitations we started with. So what does that new reality actually look and feel like? Well, it's the efficiency of just knocking out tons of parts in a single run. It's the pride you feel when you hold a perfectly finished, professional quality product in your hands. But more than anything, It's the pure joy of creating whatever you want without having to make a single compromise.
And I guess that's the ultimate question here, isn't it? We've talked about the tech, we've gone through the features, but what it all boils down to is this. What will you create when the only thing holding you back is your own imagination?